Hello, ladles, jelly spoons, and other non binary kitchen utensils. This is the Gravy Wheels podcast, where you get your weekly dose of gravy.
Bravo.
I'm your host, Franklin. And
And I'm your host, Hova.
Works. Crispy.
Crispy, you like it? I think Frank
Sure.
should just take the intro every time because he absolutely destroyed it first try.
are we recording this? Is this final? Are we doing this? Okay.
I
What are we doing?
mean,
Are we?
unless
ain't
you
got
have
time to
objections,
be fapping about here.
I think we're good to go.
All right, what's new with you noodleheads?
What isn't new? You know? I mean, honestly, dude, lots of this has been a busy week. A busy week, I feel like. So, last episode we kind of teased a little bit a certain game we mentioned that we had access to that if you guys remember, I mentioned it as I had access to a game that I also got friend invites for, and I gave the friend invites to Frank and Andrew. They were able to install the game. They were playing like 10 minutes after I sent them codes, and I couldn't figure out how to get the game downloaded on my PC, but finally got it going. But anyways, the game that we were referring to is Rogue Company, a 4v4 third-person shooter, hero-based shooter from Hi-Rez Studios, who have, they've got other games such as Smite and oh man, what was the one that they turned into a battle royale?
Paladins.
Was it Paladins? Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Paladins.
Theirs.
Pretty good studio. I actually have some friends over there that I got hired to do the Smite World Championship or something like that years back, and knew nothing about Smite. I remember showing up. There was four of us. It was me, Legion, Speedy, and Nobody Epic, and we got there, and like 15 minutes after we got there, we've got like a camera crew in our face, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna ask you." They told us what they were gonna ask us, but we tried to tell. We're like, we know nothing about this game. Like, you guys are paying us, which is great, and we're here, and you guys are cool and all. But they just, before we knew it, we had a camera in our face, and they're like, "Who's your favorite whatever Smite is, whatever, I don't know if it was
God.
hero god." Yeah, they're like, "What's your favorite god to play as?" And I'm like, I like this guy because he's got a big hammer or whatever. I just like picked one off the wall of the advertising and stuff that I saw. It was pretty brutal. But
Terrible.
yeah, I've got a buddy that works for them, Scott Gandhi, old Halo pro that I got to befriend from my days of working with MLG.TV, and he was a community manager at the time, and now he is actually the lead game designer, which I thought he was just the community manager, but come to find out he's actually the lead game designer for Rogue Company. And so he hooked me up with a bunch of codes to give away to my audience and stuff, which was awesome. But yeah, so first thoughts on the game, Andrew? What did you think?
I enjoyed it a lot. I've played a little bit of it over the past week or two, just sort of trying to figure it out and get comfortable with it. It reminds me a lot of Fortnite without the fucking building, which I like a lot because that's the worst.
Yeah.
Any game that has you build things is something that I'm kind of not interested in by default. Yeah, it's just like it's really solid. The rounds are fast. It's pretty punchy. Like, it's a pretty quick feeling game. You feel like
Yeah.
you can pick it up really quickly, but like the fun of it really lies in like working together as a team, I think.
Agreed.
So-
Yeah, I think they did. I think they nailed the pacing with the size of the teams and the maps and just the design of the maps and everything. Having said that, I have not played the S&D, like the bomb type mode, but I'm a big fan of it. It's funny that you say that it reminds you of Fortnite, because to me it didn't really remind me of Fortnite at all, to be honest. The things that stick out in my mind are Gears of War, because it's a third person shooter, and the rolling mechanic is pretty prevalent there. You can't, it's not a suck to cover based shooter like Gears, so that's a big difference there. And then also a lot of similarities to Halo and I think that comes from a lot of Scott Gandhi's influence on the game, because he, you know, came from a professional Halo background, and I want to say he was a bit of a fan of Gears, at least too. If not, I mean, obviously that was the same time frame, you know, so he's obviously very aware of how that game worked and everything too. And I see those games being heavily influenced in the gameplay, aside from the you know, the heroes and the passive abilities and ultimate abilities, obviously. But I don't know. One thing I wanted to ask you guys is, did you catch the medal system in the game? Because I've noticed that it doesn't work most of the time, I think. But there's been a few times where I've popped off and gotten like a few kills in quick succession and stuff. And there's actually a really like satisfying medal system that pops up right in the middle of your screen. And it, you know, you get different like style kills and multi-kill medals and stuff like that. And it's very reminiscent of Halo. I think there's been very little games that have come out over the years that have pulled off that medal system that are just, you know, there's been others that have tried, but Halo always, like when you pop that double or triple kill, you know, with the announcers' help, obviously, too, but that medal system has just always been very rewarding in the gameplay. And, you know, I think they again, were heavily influenced with Halo there. And you guys will notice it when it happens, and you'll probably come back to me and be like, yeah, dude, I saw it. But it was very nice.
Well, if it works, since it's supposedly broken.
Yeah, it's not all there yet, but you know, it's a beta, and I don't even think they have like a solid release date yet. But I was very pleasantly surprised. I've been enjoying it a lot. Frank, what are your thoughts on it?
It really reminded me a lot more of for some reason, I played it for like the first 2 or 3 days we got it a bit, and most of the matches that I got into seemed to be that only that Mediterranean island map, kind of like Italy, and it was all bomb defusal. I never did any matches on anywhere else, and they were all that, and it was very Counter-Strike to me in a good way. Like that's I like it. I've had this past week has been really like a week and a half to me. It's been super busy with all the critical failures and bullshit I've had to deal with at work, and I haven't had the time to play it like I want to, but I enjoy it, and I actually think that I'll play this quite a bit. So
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I'm on the same page. So I think one thing to note is that whenever I got the initial invite, it was an alpha invite, and the codes that I shared with you guys were alpha, because remember that goes with the last episode. We were talking about it without talking about it because it was embargoed. So the public beta started 4 days ago, something like that, not too long ago. So I think the reason that I could be wrong here, but I think that potentially the alpha only had the S&T game variant, the bomb game variant. So whenever you were playing, you might not have had the option. I can't remember what it's called, but even in the description, it's like our most casual game type. And it's basically it's still rounds. It's first to 3 rounds, and there's a neutral hill, basically, that you have to capture.
There are 2 bomb game types.
Oh, are there?
Yeah, there are. There's that one. There's
Okay,
a
I didn't
neutral
know that.
bomb one where each team is trying to get to the point to activate the bomb for their team.
Okay.
And then there's also a standard like attack defend Counter-Strike style where it's like one team is attacking, they have the bomb, there are 2 bomb sites.
See, I don't know if both of those are still in the build now, which excites me because I'm hoping that I always like to see more diversity in games. Like CS, I think one of the things that killed it, as good as it was, and I grinded it for like a year, at the end of the day, nothing in that game was worth playing other than the default like bomb mode. You know what I mean? So I really hope that Rogue Company comes out strong, and different bomb types, and then the hill type or whatever that I've been playing has been really good too.
Right now in Rogue Company, it's not immediately clear, but there are different playlist queues.
Definitely, yeah.
It's sort of like dig into
Yeah.
to find, but it's like you can get into that bomb game type if you want to try it.
Right. And even the casual mode, like for them to say, hey, this is the casual mode, and for me to be as into it as I have been, and it can still get like really competitive. In fact, I posted a full gameplay on my channel yesterday that just came down to the last round. Like we were tied 2-2, and it was that tiebreaker round. and man, it was intense. So you have a limited amount of tickets for respawns, and I still haven't completely understood what the game. There's probably people listening to this that know better than I do, but basically, if you have the hill capped for 45 seconds, you don't have to kill everybody, I guess, or maybe it just like takes it down to
No,
like
uh,
no more respawns.
it
It just gets rid of their
it
tickets.
if you hold on to it for 45 seconds, it takes one of their lives away, and then every other 45 seconds, it takes a life
Okay.
away.
Cool.
So
Right,
the
right.
longer you hold the hill, the more you just naturally drain their stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But man, I've just been thoroughly surprised with it and been having a lot of fun. It's gonna have its issues that any third person game does. You know, you're always gonna have your corner peekers, and by the time there's people that have figured out the meta and what rogues are the best and everything, they're just gonna hold corners, and it's gonna be probably pretty brutal. But at least there's gonna be other game types that are gonna be considered more casual, and I think it'll have some longevity to it. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to put some time into it.
There are lots of ways in the game to reveal people to your teammates, like either on the mini map or like show their silhouettes or whatever through walls.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that is gonna actually be a pretty good tool to keep people away from just holding a line, holding a corner or an angle or whatever.
I think there's some default abilities for some of the rogues, but then there was also some that you can get from the upgrades. So there'd be like, I think it
Yeah.
was the medic, maybe that more of a support role, that any damage done to a player temporarily reveals them to your
Yep.
teammates and stuff like that. So
And there are other characters who have like the sort of standard, like their ability is like a ping, where it highlights anybody it hits in a certain sort of like cone area where you direct it.
right,
So I think that'll be a good tool in trying to keep that under control.
yeah, definitely. It's funny. I think we were kind of excited for Hyperscape, and then I don't know, man. I kind of lost my interest in that fairly quickly. Maybe just because it's a BR. Another thing is, like, one of my early critiques was that so many of the abilities in that game just seemed to be defensive, and like not just like a little defensive, but like super powerful defensive. And I have a feeling if we jumped on it today, people would just be like impossible to kill because they're just going to turn into a ball or turn invisible or drop a wall or whatever the other 6 things in that game was.
I don't think I was ever in danger of being in Hyperscape for very long, just because that's a style of gameplay. It's very fast. It's very like you're constantly needing to be looking at all over the place. And like I typically play games with a controller. I just prefer it. Like my
Right.
some wrist issues, like it's just easier.
More
that way for me
casual
to
approach.
Yeah. And it's just like there's no fucking way I'm gonna be able to keep up with anybody in that game.
Right.
I really liked Hyperscape until they came out with 1v99.
I never tried that, but I heard it was brutal.
The fog is pretty goddamn intense. That kind of, I like it, that, and then not being, unless you have a dedicated squad of you and 2 other buddies.
I was trying to be cool like Frank. So Frank, why don't you tell us a little bit about your setup? It looks like it's changed a little bit. I noticed a little bit of a orientation difference. Some sort of a
Oh, yeah.
hacking device hanging on the wall back there or something. I don't know what that is.
There's going to be some things going on here pretty shortly over the next few weeks where this used to be my second bedroom, and now it's going to be my do whatever I want room. It's going to be
There
fun.
you go.
It's going to be a lot of fun things here.
Is this a totally different room?
No, it's the same room. It's just
Okay.
everything is moved around. And I threw away. I made like 12 trips to the dumpster with 2 trash bags. I've just thrown away my entire everything knickknack that I don't need.
It feels so good.
That's how it goes. The older you
It
get,
does.
and just every time you clean the house, it's just like trash. I do not care. I would rather not have to worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm making a lot of room for a lot of big things. It's gonna be fun. I gotta fix that TV back there. That's gonna be fun. So it'll be like the 5th or the 6th one I fixed. Oh, and I picked this up today.
Uh-oh. Got some good? Some black label? Green label.
Cream. All right.
No, here's the thing. This is a $50 bottle.
Okay.
I'm a raging alcoholic, so
No.
a $200. So no, you wouldn't believe it. No. So a $200 bottle of whiskey really is not a. Yeah. There's no point in. I think that's Johnny Walker Blue,
Yeah.
not black.
I got some red label, and it's like, I don't like super smoky whiskeys because they tend to give me heartburn, like really bad.
It's the charcoal filtering.
Yeah, the charcoal is just I can't.
I think they filter this through I think charred peat moss.
This is my go-to right here.
Yeah.
Good old Jameson. Can't go wrong with it, man.
There's going to be some cool things here for the viewers to see and for me to play around with.
Like an N-Gage kiosk.
That's right.
Shh, what did you fucking tell him?
I'm sorry.
One of those like places that has an N64 in it that like McDonald's used to have.
So I never mind.
Okay.
I really wanted one of those. I found one like a week ago on eBay, and it's not there anymore.
It's a shame.
Correct. You've seen my Wii U kiosk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I got that from. But my initial plan was I was going to take like a decent size, like 32-inch TV or something, you know, and mount it to it and like hook up a GameCube or something to it, you know, maybe a Wii, and have like a little PlayStation. And but yeah, no. The more I look at it, I'm just like, why did I take on this massive, like at least 3 people to move stupid thing? So I just ripped that, you know, the only thing I care off of it, and now I gotta find a way to dispose of it, because I'm pretty sure if I leave that out by the curb, the trash people are gonna be like, fuck you, bud. Not gonna happen.
So I got a rather serious question I need to ask you guys.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Are all of your villagers alive on Animal Crossings?
Wouldn't
They can
know.
die?
No, no, they don't. But have you guys been still playing the quarantine #1 game? Have you guys?
Dude,
Keep it up.
we signed in, my girlfriend and I, we signed in shortly after the summer update, you know, to check out how the swimming and stuff works. And which is kind of cool. You can like dive down and get clams and sea urchins and seaweed and a couple new other, I don't know, ground dwelling things in the sea. But I don't know, man. I think that game totally lost its appeal to me once you've, like, the fun for me was, first of all, it was my first experience with the entire franchise, so it was just a learning experience for me. And I put so much time into that game early on and streamed so much of it. I ended up having people come in that were like asking me questions that were familiar with the series, and I found myself, you know, informing them on how to play the new game in the franchise, which was pretty cool, just because I put so much time into it. What's that?
Shameful.
The idiot savant route.
Exactly, yeah. And I had a lot of fun with it, but I think the fun for me was learning, you know, figuring it out as you go. And obviously, like, you don't have everything from the beginning. You know, I remember people coming in and be like, how'd you get the shovel? How'd you get the ladder? How'd you get this? And the fun was unlocking all that stuff. And once you have all that unlocked, and then once you've abused the turnip market and you have like 18 million in the bank, it's like, I can afford everything, you know, and there's no reason for me to spend 4 hours fishing anymore. I'm not going to get excited about anything that I catch, and it's mostly going to be sea bass anyways. I'm going to want to, you know, cut my dick off and throw it in a river. So yeah, I think my time on that game is up, man. I think it's up.
I feel that. Yeah, it's like I get to this point now where the next big thing that I'm supposed to do for my island, and mind you, I haven't opened the game in maybe like 45 days. I think is like I have to beautify everything so that KK will come and play his concert.
You don't even have a KK yet?
Wow.
No, I don't even have KK. I was like, I don't want to beautify my island. I like my island.
It's not that bad because we're really bad about picking all the weeds and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually he's just like, fuck it, I'll come anyways, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like I just lost interest. I was like, nah,
Yeah.
I don't.
My island is literally like 75% of it is just fruit trees. It's just orchards.
That's what I did too, man.
Yeah.
I was like, screw it, I'm going full. I mean, you can make good money in that game just planting trees everywhere. Because if you think about it, there was only like what, the dark wood I think is the only thing that you can't get from the fruit trees. So you realize quickly it's like, well, I could just level everything on my island, maybe minus the cedars or whatever it is that gives the dark wood, replace it all with peach and orange and apple and cherry trees and all that, and then every other day you have, or if you do it right, you know, every single day you just go around and harvest all your fruit and get a decent amount of money just from that. So
I started playing it, just checking in daily and doing some stuff. I've been checking in daily for like a long time. Mainly, just the biggest thing was I completed all of the Easter stuff, all of the eggs, all of that. I have all of that except for the Easter wand because
I never did any of that.
Because up until 2 days ago, I have never had meteor shower or whatever on my fucking island.
Oh, really?
Never.
It took a long time for me to see it too. It was like one of those things that everybody had. I'm like, dude, I haven't seen one, you know. And then finally I logged in one day and I think, you know, she was like, because the lady will tell you like, oh, it's a very clear night, or it's a very clear day or something like that. You might want to keep an eye on the sky or something. You know, it kind of alludes to it before it happens.
Yeah, I probably got like 200 hours in that fucking game, and it's only happened once.
Rip.
I've got more than 200 hours, but whatever.
I think I only saw one, but when I did see it, I set my controller to turbo, and then I just like left it so that he was looking up at the sky, and every single time a meteor would like cross into the screen, he would automatically look up and wish. And then the next day I had like 30 or 40 fragments.
Yeah. Other than that, like, I'm just gonna keep casually playing it very barely. But the coolest island I've ever been to, as soon as I landed on the island and I walked up through it, there was just a bunch of those automatic toilets leading me into the island.
Hell yeah, dude.
Beautiful.
Hell yeah. Have you guys ever played Pokemon Quest?
Is that the?
It's like a
kind of,
mobile.
like,
I think it's a
Yeah.
mobile game. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I
on
know.
Switch. I just found it on the Switch and it was free, so I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And I actually ended up getting like really addicted to that because it's a totally different fight style, I guess, you know? Like you have to like use buttons to switch. You get 3 Pokemon and you have to switch between your Pokemon and then choose each one each one has either 1 attack or 2 attacks. Depends on the slots when you catch your Pokemon. And so you switch in between your 3, and then each attack has a cooldown, and you're just constantly attacking with all 3 of your Pokemon to take out. And it's kind of like waves of Pokemon that you have to fight, and then there's a boss at the end, and there's drops, and every Pokemon has slots, and you can put your drops into the slots to kind of make them more powerful and stuff. I got super addicted, man. I went all the way to the final island where you get to like battle Mewtwo and stuff. It was good times. I highly recommend at least checking it out. You know, I think a lot of hardcore Pokemon fans probably just cringe at the idea of me even enjoying the game, but I like it.
It's like what you like.
Yeah, exactly. Do what you do, like what you
I did
like.
see. I did see that the Nintendo is going to have Pokken Tournament DX on like a trial for like 5 days, so anybody can download it and play the full game. And I'm actually pretty excited for that because I never really gave that game a proper shot. I played the demo a few times, but like, I love fighting games. I always have. And the fact that this is made by, you know, the Tekken people, Bandai, Namco Bandai, I'm like, I'll give it a shot. Like, I think it'll be pretty fun.
Right. Well, now that
I'm
we're
surprised-
oh, we did it.
What?
What are you surprised by? We finally talked over each other. It happened.
Oh. I'm surprised that we've made it this far into the show without you bringing up the Xbox Game Showcase.
That's exactly what I was going to get to because I don't know how long we'll spend on it, but we better bring it up now. So
15 minutes.
yeah, 10 and a half max. So Frank, just to be clear, you didn't catch the Xbox Showcase at all? Any of it?
I was updated by you two on the WhatsApp all day while it was happening. Other than that, I'm a working man, so
Ah, there it
you know,
is.
I like
True.
if I would have if you guys would have sent me a link to it, I would have watched on my phone while I worked. But I had to do a lot of bullshit, so
Oh,
I'm
yeah, it's
going
been a
in
crazy
cold
week.
on this one.
What is it?
I'm doing
Maybe
going
an
in cold
hour?
on.
Hour long
Yeah, it was an
presentation?
hour.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have been.
They opened with GTA 5. No, I'm just joking. They did not. But they opened with Halo. They opened with Halo, but we'll get to Halo in a second. What did you think overall, Andrew? I guess what are your hot points? Hot points? Sure, we'll roll with it.
I was pretty underwhelmed, if I'm being real with you. I was expecting to watch that conference and then at the end at least feel a twinge of desire to buy one of the new Xboxes, and that's really not the like road they're going down, which is very confusing to me because
Yeah.
every single game they announced, every single one except for I think Crossfire X,
Yep. The campaign.
is also coming to PC. So it's like I don't know what the idea is. Also, all these games are coming to Game Pass too.
But
Which is like-
you have that perspective because you have a gaming PC. You know, so
That's true.
you do have to think about the people out there that either A, are too young or whatever, for whatever reason, don't have a gaming PC or don't necessarily have a desire to or the ability to have one. But it is hard to see that perspective because I've been a PC gamer for a long time now, and I feel like the majority of my friends are now PC gamers primarily. Like basically anybody I know that calls himself a gamer is primarily PC, and then it's like, you know, there's a couple console things that they do. But yeah, so even for me being, you know, a hardcore Xbox fanboy, I was, you know, yeah, I share the same, you know, kind of like what this is a very odd situation, you know.
Like if you look at that whole show as a selling point for people to get Game Pass, then it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're like everything that you're going to see today, you can get on there,
Right.
which is awesome. Like I think that Game Pass is like what people should be doing,
Yeah.
and like if for them to focus on that, I think is really really smart and like push that as hard as they can.
I think a lot of people are still sleeping on the Game Pass and just how good it really is, you know. I don't think Gears of War's on there anymore, but at one point all the Gears games were on there, all the Halo games were on there, GTA 5 and stuff like that. And so it's still that thing where, you know, games rotate in and out, which kind of sucks, but it's at least on a monthly basis, you know, so you get 30 days. Like if you want to think about it as in terms of like back in our day, I don't know if you guys were, but I was subscribed to GameFly. And you know you could have your game rented or your 1 or 3 games out at a time or whatever, and as soon as you shipped one back, the next one in your queue would ship, you know, so you could play it as long as you wanted. But you know, a lot of times back in the GameFly days, I was shipping games back 2-3 days, you know, a week after I got it. So you know, I think a month for Game Pass is a pretty decent amount of time to get the games played that you want to play on there before they roll
I mean,
over.
and no game is on Game Pass for just a month.
Right.
You know, it's
yeah.
like that's when stuff cycles, but it's like usually something is on there for like 7-8
Right.
months, and then it's.
I'm just saying,
so it's
like at least 30 days, I would say is the time frame you would have.
Sure.
Because I've never really paid attention to exactly what's on there and for how long, as far as the rotations go. But it is
like,
a damn good deal.
Just thinking about like I like Forza. I want to play the new Forza game. I probably don't $60 want to play the new Forza game, but because I
Right.
have Game Pass, I'll be able to get it the day it comes out.
Yep.
The same with like, you know, Carrion just came out. It's a $20 indie game. I'm very curious about it. I'm very interested in it. I still haven't played it, but came out day and date Game Pass. It's like it's if you're another gaming company, if you're Sony and Nintendo and you're not trying to figure out a way to do a version of this, then I don't know what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. So to kind of get away from the Game Pass aspect of it, what was your biggest takeaway from the Xbox Game Showcase? Like what was the best thing that you think that they showed from your personal preference at least?
For me, it's probably got to be the medium. I didn't know. I guess that was a known quantity. Like people knew about that game beforehand, but I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
And it looks like exactly the type of shit that I enjoy.
That was the one that looked very like BioShocky, right?
No, no. The medium is the one where there are two simultaneously rendered
Oh,
worlds. that you
yeah,
can
yeah,
sort of, like, swap
yeah.
between.
You know what I thought of whenever I saw that? The games that have been coming out. Maybe there's not more than just this, but
Oh, hold on.
Halo
I want
specifically.
to. I
Okay,
want
go
to
ahead.
address Frank's perplexed face. Frank, did
Uh-oh.
you see the Silent Hill movie, the very first one,
Sober?
at all?
But yeah, I don't remember. But I have seen it, but I
This is
don't
definitely a game
remember.
that I think Frank would be very into.
Yeah, if you remember in that movie, there is this kind of thing where these two people were seemingly in the same place at the same time, but not being able to like interact, and the circumstances were very different.
Okay.
And so that's what the medium is doing, and you can sort of switch back and forth from which world you want to like be in.
Oh,
Think-
okay.
Think Halo when they did the remasters. You can hit, I don't know what button it is, but you can
Yeah.
hit a button
Oh,
and
the-
switch from the original
yeah, yeah.
graphics to the yeah. That's I feel like somebody was playing that game using that feature and they were like, "Oh my god, this could be a really interesting game mechanic if it was more than just like original graphics, upgraded graphics. It could be two totally different worlds at the press of a button."
Okay.
You know what I
You
mean?
just have a need to equate things to Halo.
No, I really don't. That's the first thing I thought because
Whoa. Stop, guys. Hey, do you see? It looks like you have like the impression of like two balls on your chin right now, Joey.
oh, I thought you were gonna point out this little guy.
Halo.
Master Chief.
Tickle, 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 tickle. Okay.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
listen to the audio version are like, "What is happening right now?" Yeah. So, what was the little bunker and the dudes and the thing and the stuffs with the other stuff? The thing, Chernobyl.
You're bad at this.
the Chernobyl. I can't think of the name of
Stalker
it.
2. Stalker 2.
Yeah, so I don't
Wait.
remember that first one at all, but that looked really cool. Just, I mean, it was obviously, I don't think there was any gameplay. It was just cinematic, but that looked like something I would love to try out.
Like Stalker, like Call of Pripyat.
Yeah.
Okay.
A proper sequel. Stalker 2 is coming out.
The opening shot,
Nice.
Frank. Actually, my first thought. See, I don't try to equate everything to Halo, just the games that I frequent. But the
Okay.
first shot of Stalker 2 was the, oh my god, Ferris wheel? Is that what those are called?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ferris wheel in Chernobyl. And my first thought was Call of Duty 4, that iconic mission in Chernobyl, and you have to like hold down and wait for the helicopter to extract you, and it's really, really hard on the hardest difficulty. Anyways, yeah, I thought it was like something Call of Duty based or whatever, and then obviously they started showing like zombie dogs, and I don't know anything about the like lore of that game, so that's one of the reasons it's interesting to me. But
I
it
mean,
looks pretty
it's,
awesome.
It's really similar to Fallout, I think. Just instead of dealing with like post-apocalyptic America, you're dealing with post-apocalyptic Russia.
Fair enough.
And
I'm down for
anomalies, some fun stuff.
It's cool. They're good games.
How many have you finished since we started recording? You're really impressing me right now, dude. A Capri Sun and like 5 beers, I think, is my count, roughly. Maybe a couple before we started recording.
Got to stay hydrated. He's got to pee 40 times during the podcast, so.
Oh man.
Oh, we're gonna bring that up. All right. Let me. No, not yet.
And then we had there's a new Fable, which a lot of people were excited about, which I don't really care at all.
Big man.
Oh, all right. Whenever Fable first came out, it was good for what it was.
Dude,
And then like the Fable remaster, well, maybe you guys had different experiences, but I did like the original Fable when it came out, and then I tried to play it again recently with like one of the remasters, and I was like, no, I'm not playing this. This is no.
we need a new. What was that game called?
I don't
Cameo.
know.
Yeah.
New Cameo.
I don't
or
know
bust.
how many. We were just talking about it. It's already left my head. How many Fable games there have been? But I'm pretty sure I beat the first 3, and I am never finding myself thinking like, I would like a new Fable game.
Ouch.
Like if you put one in front of me, I would probably play it. But I'm like, I don't know. I just don't care that much. I have no
Right.
love for the franchise.
Well, so now to get right to it.
Oh, before we get to Halo, I do
Okay.
also want to say one thing. I am excited for Crossfire X. I hope it does come out for PC.
I think it
because
looks
Remedy
good.
is kick ass. and Remedy like makes interesting games.
I am interested to try that out. Now, have you played Crossfire, the multiplayer?
No,
It's
I
actually
don't know
really good.
anything about it.
As long as I'm almost positive I'm thinking of the same game. It's basically a straight ripoff of Call of Duty multiplayer, and it was really enjoyable. So seeing that they're branching out and actually making a campaign and maybe trying to make more for that that franchise is pretty interesting to see.
Well, that's the weird thing is like Remedy doesn't typically make games like that. Remedy makes these big story heavy games that have like interesting mechanics and like actors and shit in them. Like they
Right.
made Control, they made Alan Wake, they made Quantum Break.
They made Alan Wake series?
Yeah, they made the Alan Wake games.
Oh, okay.
The first 2 Max Payne games are Remedy games.
Okay.
So like that's kind of their shit. And
Now
then
you've
seeing
got
them-
me thinking. I'm totally thinking of a different Call of Duty ripoff, but
I think you're thinking of Blacklight Retribution.
no, not
But-
Blacklight. More recent than that.
Okay. But yeah, I know it's weird to see them doing this thing that seems very normal.
Yeah.
You know,
Alan Wake was fucking cool.
Alan Wake is great. Control is kick ass. They're good at their jobs.
All right, boys and girls. What's your take on the Halo shit, Joey? Let's hear all 45 minutes of it, you fucking nerd.
That'd be the longest episode so far if we went another 45 minutes from now. But okay, so I'm glad that they cut right to the chase. The first thing they showed was Halo. That whole little like how the Mjolnir, however you pronounce that, armor is made on like its own little like dedicated space station or everything. That was really cool to see. The soundtrack and everything, that whole little trailer was awesome. Then we cut to the gameplay demo, which initially, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty geeked out about it. I was sitting here, kind of freaking out, getting excited, tearing up, man, just thinking back to the days of good, Well, so they went, and the first thing I noticed was that they were the enemies that you're seeing are jackals, grunts, elites, brutes, the old school. The jackals got the classic shields that they had back in Halo 2. I don't think did they have shields in Halo 1? Yeah, I guess they did. I don't remember. I
Yeah,
can't
they did.
remember. Okay, yeah. You see some of the classic weapons and stuff like that. I honestly thought the scenery and everything was pretty beautiful and impressive at first. They bring up the map. They definitely wanted to show off that it is an open world Halo, which I think is pretty exciting. Personally, I know Andrew doesn't necessarily share that opinion.
We'll see.
Everything that they were showing, I was pretty cool with. I was like, by the time, I don't know if you caught the part where, I know Frank didn't because he didn't see it, but there's a part in the trailer where either a brute or an elite like drop kicks or just maybe throws a grunt. I don't remember which one started doing it, but in one of the Halos, the grunts would just like pop 2 plasma grenades and just like suicide charge you and be like, "Ah!" Making their weird noises. Yeah. So it does that, but an elite or a brute or whatever like drop kicks it. He just launches a grunt with the 2 grenades like a damn bomb at Master Chief, and he shoots him out of the sky. Which is really cool to see, a new mechanic there. They introduced a grapple, which I don't know what to think about that. I mean, for like a campaign, I think it could be kind of cool. He does at one point grapple a fusion core and then pick up the fusion core and throw the fusion core.
Yeah.
And I guess you can just pick up fusion cores without even having to, you don't have to grapple them to you. So that's kind of cool that you can pick up fusion cores and maybe some other items and just kind of like launch them at people. I could see that being really fun in multiplayer.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's actually a really good idea because you need to have, if you're going to move to an open world thing from what Halo has traditionally been, you are going to need some sort of movement mechanic to spice it up a little bit.
And I saw people saying stuff like that too, that with the open world, Halo's are already known for like Easter eggs, not just the skulls, but just Easter eggs in general.
Yeah.
ever since Halo 2. I don't, Halo 1 didn't really have anything, if much, that I can think of, but ever since Halo 2, at least, there's always been that kind of stuff. So an open world, the first thing every Halo fan thinks is like, oh my god, just exploring that is going to be so much fun, because they're just going to hide shit everywhere. So yeah, I agree in that sense. A grapple could be very nice.
And also in that footage, I did not see Master Chief sprinting at all.
He does. So
He does.
Yeah. So right after they come out of the dropship, they get shot down in the dropship. He comes out of the back of it. He kills like a few grunts in like a little pond. Right before he gets into the Warthog, he sprints over to it. Now, the reason that you might not have noticed that he sprints is because he does, in fact, sprint, which, my personal opinion, sprint doesn't belong in Halo. It has no place in Halo. To me, when I think Halo, I immediately go to multiplayer. I've always been a multiplayer focused gamer, I guess, as much as I love the campaign as well in Halo. Halo's all about tracking enemy movement and continuing damage on a target, and having to keep up with that aim and that precision and keep landing hits until you break their shields and then finally get a headshot to kill. Sprint fucks that up, obviously. It's a way to get away from a gunfight, especially like with Halo 5. They added that like thruster bullshit where you can like dodge back and forth and all that stuff. And all that stuff, in my opinion, has no place in Halo. I do not agree with it. But one of the reasons that you might not have noticed is because he does sprint, but it seems to be a lot slower. It's not very, like, it's a sprint, it's faster than a run, or it's faster than a walk or whatever, but it's not sprint like we saw it in Halo 4 and Halo 5, so.
All right. Yeah, I think that if you're going to get an open world, though, you got to make some concessions. Like, you got to be able to move around it a little faster than just Master Chief's kind of plod. He's not a fast man.
Yeah, I get that. And then, so with the grapple, I've seen people saying that it's going to be in multiplayer, because that's another big concern, is like, man, what's that going to do to the... I think back to like Black Ops 3 and Advanced Warfare and stuff. As soon as they change the movement, the core movement of the game, of your player, the maps totally change. Like, I loved Black Ops 3, other than the fact that you could... I can't even remember what you could do at that. You could wall run and stuff like that. So all the maps were like... There was like these weird walls that were just, on the outside of the map that were clearly set up just so people could wall run. And I don't know, that kind of took me out of it. That's not Call of Duty, if you ask me. So, a lot of people have the same concern going into Halo with these grapples. It's like, how's that going to change the map design, the overall gameplay and everything? But apparently... The rumors are that the grapple is going to be there, but it's going to be a pickup. It's going to be essentially like a power weapon. And apparently they showed also not a bubble shield, but some sort of a deployable shield. It was actually kind of weird. It's kind of like a one-sided bubble shield, but you could shoot through it, but you can't get shot through it. So that was kind of interesting. But I think if they do the grapple and that and whatever else as like map pickups, like a power weapon, essentially equipment, like Halo 3 style, I think it could be okay. It'll be interesting. I think there'll be some cool moments, some like cool Twitter clips and montage moments and stuff of people like grappling over to players, or doing the top of the map and then hitting a no scope, or there'll be some cool stuff that'll come from that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, just be open to it,
Yeah, I'm trying not to be closed-minded. I get it. It's not 2007 anymore or whatever. There's gonna be new stuff if they want to attract new people to the game, which I still think, I'm shocked they didn't at least tease some multiplayer and a BR. I think a BR would be, they've already got the big map and everything, and they're trying to get new people over to their franchise. Why not just take a stab at it and try to get people to come over and play the free new Battle Royale that any Battle Royale player is going to want to check out, and all the streamers and stuff like that, and then see what trickles into multiplayer. But there's a lot of things that really perplexed me with that Halo presentation that I don't think I caught on to until afterwards, and I watched, some follow-up videos and stuff. Like, apparently the new shotgun is like a complete replacement. It's not like an addition to... the Magnum pistol that they showed, like, basically doesn't even look like... It looks like a Call of Duty pistol. It doesn't look much like anything else. They did show the BR, which is nice. Some stuff like that. The graphical issues, I did not notice at all until I started watching some breakdown videos and stuff. at the point where he goes like up that elevator, and it's kind of like a wow moment because you can see like a lot of the cascading mountains and stuff in the background. If you pay attention in the background, there's like
There's some
fog.
there.
Yeah, there's like some clouds or fog or something that'll like literally just disappear and then pop back in and stuff like there's textures just disappearing. I noticed right before he gets into the warthog, there's a moment where he like kills some grunts and stuff, and then a pelican flies over, and when he starts like panning up to look at the pelican, all the grass on the ground beside him starts disappearing like a little prematurely, which makes sense because it's an open world and there's a lot more textures and stuff that they've got to, when the camera's not looking at it, it's all gonna, not be there, obviously, or maybe not all of it, but a lot of it's gonna disappear to save on performance. But it's like disappearing a little too early, and there's just a lot of moments like that. Even the pelican that flies in, if you watch it, it like instead of having like a smooth flight path, it gets like here and it kind of jerks and then it goes over, and it's just like, oh my god.
I can't. Are people for real going to be mad about this? Like, this game is in alpha, maybe.
But
state, like right now.
What are we looking at? November launch? Is that the launch of the Series X?
Something like that, yeah.
So we're talking about, what, 3 months out? Yeah, 3-4 months out. We're getting pretty close. And my thing is, I've seen, apparently a 343 employee has stated that it was an older build. And I've even seen some people put a time frame on it, that it's a build that's 6 months back. But if that is the case, which it probably is, and, hopefully things have gotten a lot better, like the textures and the brutes' faces and stuff like that. And even like, the weapons, some of the weapons just seemed like they were missing textures. It was all kind of very like plastic looking. That was like one of the things that people are saying, is everything looks like it was just like 3D printed or something. It's all plastic models. It's just really surprising to me that the very first gameplay that we see from Halo Infinite, the flagship title that's supposed to sell the Series X, like they chose to play, to show off a 10-minute demo from a build that's 6 months prior. Like, I don't know, it just kind of seems like a red flag. I mean, hopefully it's all just, not that big of a deal, and the game's going to come out and it's going to look great and it's going to play great. And, they're going to have plenty of time to get it done the way that it needs to be done. But even as a Halo fanboy and Xbox fanboy, to me, it's a little bit concerning. Not going to lie.
I think it's, I also think of like that graphical style is perhaps an art direction choice. Like, we don't necessarily know that they're going for like the same sort of photorealism type stuff that like a lot of games do. And I think that honestly, when I think about Halo, I don't think about that sort of art style. I think of like a little more like bright colors, a little more legible, a little clearer to understand, to decipher quickly with your eye.
Right.
So like, I see that as like a valid choice if that's the choice that they're making, and like I'm into that. But I don't know. People are complaining too much.
Just I agree. I mean, that's just the
like always.
yeah, exactly. That's just the time that we live in with anything. I mean, everybody's just going to complain about everything, no matter what. They could have shown us the best thing ever. I mean, especially with Halo, it's always, oh, this is this is the same thing. They just carbon copied it and put a new title on it, or oh, this is way too far, you can't go that far away from the original, and it's like, where's the happy medium here,
So I've got a question. Let's just wrap up the Xbox talk. An MMA fighter asked me a question today.
Okay.
Ryan the Flying Lion, do you guys think that Microsoft making Xbox exclusives available on PC will negatively affect the Xbox sales?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Hell yeah.
I don't think you can answer that any other way than yes. Face value at least.
When I look at what the PS5 has shown off so far, I see a Spider-Man game that I know I want to play, and I know that I'm not going to be able to play it anywhere else. And like, even if that was the only game, that's still like, I know that like, because of the PS4, their track record with exclusives has been amazing. Has been so good. And like, I do trust them to continue doing that.
It's literally the only I'm gonna be getting a brand new gaming PC build soon. I'd much rather buy a PS4 or a PS5 than I would buying an Xbox right now. I mean,
At the end of the
it's
day,
like,
though, isn't that like the dark side that we all want to get away from as gamers, though? You know what I mean? Like, I think, you know, the exclusivity shit just needs to be gone. Play anywhere is such a good thing to be going for. You know, I understand that they're not doing a very good job selling consoles, being like, hey, you can play all of our shit on PC, but at the same time, that's what I want. You know, cross-play, cross-progression, play anywhere, fuck exclusivity, fuck DLC that comes out 3 months, 6 months, a year before on PlayStation, then this and that, and fuck all that. You know, we need to get away from all that stuff.
Well, that's like what I was saying earlier. Like we're as a presentation, that was a great presentation for Game Pass, not
Definitely,
so much
yeah.
for a new Xbox.
Right.
But
yeah.
like, yeah, it's like they're all three. Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony are all playing different games right now. Like
Totally.
Sony is trying to be the apex of what the strategy has been for the last 20 years or whatever. You get, you make a great console, you have badass exclusives for it, and people have to buy your console to play your games. That's what they want to do. That's the line of logic that they're pursuing. And Microsoft's is a little more like with their eyes to the future. They're thinking a little more about making the Xbox sort of brand a platform as opposed to like uh, uh, as opposed to like having it shackled to one console, which
Right.
is you're also seeing with the smart delivery stuff. They're saying we want you to be able, like these One X games, most of them are going to be able to be the Series X games are going to be able to be played on older hardware still too. And Nintendo is just Nintendo. They're just going to do whatever the fuck they want all the time, whenever.
Right. For better or for worse, I've always seen Xbox as like the more forward-thinking, outgoing brand, and then like Nintendo and PlayStation are so set in their ways and narrow-minded and like stubborn. You know what I mean? Even when it just comes to like YouTube, like you know, Nintendo until like a year or two ago was like, yeah, we're gonna claim everybody that uploads our content and
Yeah.
fuck over the creators, you know, like stuff like that. And then obviously choices with their consoles and games kind of fit that narrative as well. And then yeah, you've got PlayStation, who's a little bit better, I think, but still kind of making some odd choices. Apparently, they still kind of have some reluctancy to go towards like crossplay, even though they've shown some, you know, they've shown some leniency in some areas, but they
think-
still seem to be like not all for it, which is fucking weird. to
Yeah.
me.
I think they're starting to wisen up to that because they're really only when you fight against crossplay, you're really only hurting yourself.
Right. Yeah. Especially when that's the direction that everyone's going, you know?
it's
And
the future.
when people are going to start catching on to like, oh yeah, I've heard that game's really badass, like, you know, can we play together? Says the Switch player, and the Xbox player is like, yeah, we can. And then, you know, Billy Bob's like, well, I've got PlayStation, can we play together? No. And then, you know, people are going to start catching on. Okay, sorry if I offended you with the Billy Bob statement, Andrew, but you know what I'm saying? Like, gamers are going to start catching on to that, and they're going to, you know, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they start coming around and start playing nice.
Yeah, moving towards a unified thing, I think is good. So like, I like the Microsoft's approaches like that. But that
Right.
said, I want to play fucking God of War 2.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, guys. We're gonna switch topics here. We're gonna get real crazy with it. Fusion style foods. Can you guys think of any fusion style foods, and I will be giving examples, that you think are just absolutely disgusting and horrible and should not be made, and some surprisingly good fusion style foods that work out? Example one: Nashville hot chicken and waffles on top of a pizza. No, that's
No.
super try hard,
Wow.
edgy. Yeah,
Can't do it.
I mean,
I saw that.
Are you saying you wouldn't even try it? You're that offended by it?
I want to punch somebody in the face for this. Yes, I'm that offended.
I mean, I would try it.
I think it sounds good until you get to the logical part where you're putting syrup on a pizza, and then it starts to fall apart for me.
Exactly. I want to punch that dog fart of a human in the face. Like, why would you even think of that? Chicken and waffles is a good combination, but Nashville hot chicken and waffles, and then put it on top of a pizza. Like, what are we doing here?
Have you even had Nashville hot chicken and waffles? Because even that, to me, I mean, I had it at like our dog shit KFC, and it was pretty rough.
That's nothing.
But
KFC, KFC is barely even chicken.
I know. That's yeah. I shouldn't. Yeah.
But another weird, crazy combination. We were up at my uncle's in Ohio, and my aunt, she's Korean, and we made these things with these Korean puff rice cakes where we were just like, well, what are we gonna do with this? And what are we gonna do with this? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's put some fucking ice cream and syrup and shit on it. So we made these sandwich cakes with these sandwiches with these Korean rice puff cakes with ice cream in the middle of them with like syrup, and it was the greatest thing
I'm
ever.
down. Anything with ice cream.
Yeah.
But what weird bastardizations do you guys think of food fusions are good, and which ones are just absolutely horrible?
I do have one right off the top of my head that I am very fond of because we actually have these in Brooklyn from time to time. Are sushi burritos. So it's basically like you make a giant sushi roll, essentially, but instead of slicing it into pieces, you just eat it like a burrito, and they're awesome. You choose, you know, all the different kinds of fish that you want in it, and all the.
There's no tortilla, right? It's just like seaweed on
No,
the
it's
outside.
wrapped in. Yeah, it's wrapped in
Okay.
seaweed. Yeah,
Say that's a no go for me. I feel like
they're dope. They're fucking dope.
That recently came to KC, and I need to go. Maybe I'll try that out this weekend.
I can't really think of any bastardizations off the top of my head. I don't know, man. I'm a big fan of Goober burgers, but I don't know if that really counts. That's just peanut
First
butter on a
off-
burger.
First off, bastardizations.
Don't be
Well, you
mad.
can't have a goober burger. Bastardization. You post on your Twitter feed all these nasty candies and ice creams and shit that are all just like, let's
What's nasty
throw
about
in
it?
Sour Patch Worm cereal or some whatever bullshit you post.
Yeah, what was it that I just tried? The churros cinnamon toast crunch. Those are not as good as the regular cinnamon toast crunch. I'm here to tell you, kids. Stick to the regular cinnamon toast crunch, okay? There's too much cereal to not enough cinnamon sugar ratio on the churros, okay? Stick to the normal stuff. But on that note, I did finish half a quart of Lucky Charms ice cream last night. I'm just saying.
Wow, a
And
quart.
It was fantastic. We're like almost to the end here, and Frank's throwing up the.
Can't hold it. 3 more minutes. He can't make it.
I
3
know,
more
right?
minutes.
What is happening?
Different.
Oh. What? Okay, there is a correct answer to this question, but what is your favorite ice cream brand and flavor? I'm telling you that there is one superior combination of those things.
Of what?
Ice
Okay.
cream brand and flavor. If you're in the ice cream aisle, which brand are you looking at first? Are you looking at the Breyers? Looking at Blue Bunny?
Blue. That's Blue Bunny. Yeah.
Blue Bunny.
So they have one of these that's churro, and it's freaking awesome. But yeah, they're stupid expensive, and they're single serve, but they have all the toppings and shit, and then they're great.
I just went on an ice cream
Oh
extravaganza not too long ago, and I picked up some.
No.
I picked up some Breyers peach cobbler, and it was pretty good. And I also picked up something else from Breyers. I can't remember now, but I don't know if I really have a go-to. I'm a sucker for going to the Ben and Jerry's and just getting the ones with like gobs of cookie dough and fudge and caramel and stuff like that. Like American Dream is good, but then the other one,
Yeah.
there's another Night Show one that's like really good that I just tried.
I have one in the freezer right now that has potato chips in it, and I'm excited.
Oh, what?
It's like fudge
Dude,
potato chip.
I'm
nonsense,
down
Ben
for
and
that.
Jerry's stuff.
What is
What's
I'm gonna have to
the
Google
correct
it.
answer though, Andrew? What's the correct answer? What's the answer you're looking for?
The correct answer is Haagen-Dazs chocolate chip cookie dough.
That's pretty good. That's a solid one.
Okay.
Can't beat it. If you like, all the bodegas in New York City have Haagen-Dazs and they have Ben and Jerry's. Those are like the only two ice cream brands for whatever
Half-baked.
reason.
Say it with me, kids.
And-
Bodega. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
And
Fish food.
but like anytime you find chocolate chip cookie dough, you have to buy as much of it as you can carry, basically, because that shit sells out.
Jesus. I don't know if I've ever had Haagen-Dazs cookie dough, but now I want it.
You keep your eyes peeled next time you go to the grocery store.
One of the ones that-
treat yourself.
I actually watched an episode of Good Mythical Morning, and they did like an entire ice cream like tournament. And one of the ones that went really far, I believe, was it Briar? I think it was Briar's banana pudding, and it's really good. If you're a banana fan, it's not like the cheap Runts banana flavoring. It's like a good banana. But one thing that I want to ask you guys, if you've ever had, is the Mexico Bolis, or I don't know how you pronounce it. Bolis. You guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
Crickets. Dude, all right, here. I'll send you guys a screen or like a picture of the packaging. So this is like, it's like in a plastic tube, and it basically tastes like coconut mixed with sweetened condensed milk.
I think I maybe know what you're talking about. They're in like a clear plastic tube.
Yes. That is the longest link known to man, and it's not even clickable.
It also doesn't work.
What the fuck is that? Are we in Swordfish and this is like the fucking code stack of the government? What is that link?
Yeah, I
Holy
was just trying to get your passwords there.
It's not even a link. It's just.
I know now. I tried. I'm sorry. I don't know how the internet works.
Really
Anyways,
weird.
those things are like one of my.
Oh yeah.
Those
are
I
good.
like accidentally bought. I saw them and I was like, we'll just throw some weird ice cream in the cart and see what happens. And that's like probably on my top 3. Those things are so good, dude. You like, I get them out of the freezer and I like roll them around in my palms until they get a little bit melty, and then I just cut a little of the corner off and you just suck on it like a tit. Oh my god, dude, so good. I'm so fat. I'm literally like, my veins are popping out right now thinking about it, dude. I'm so excited. Yeah, that's all you just go to the Mexican cuisine aisle in Walmart and just clear them out.
Dumbass.
Jesus Christ. He's being so mean, Andrew. See what I have to deal with?
These are good.
You have it coming.
Dude, your fucking camera's all pixelated. I don't know who sent you that camera. And it just looked like...
you said it, you dick.
It just looks like all that... Like, what is the duck that's on, like, every package of, like, knockoff Twinkies?
Gansito.
Whatever.
Gansito. Oh my god, those are so good. Also, I'm gonna start eating pickles again. Pickles in a bag. Can't go wrong.
During the bachelor party, Andrew, Frank, I had my truck down there, so we would go to the grocery store from time to time or whatever, and Frank would always hop in with me, and we'd go to the store, and Frank would just come out with like an entire bag full of bagged pickles like that, and like this high pH water that's like $4 a bottle or something. He would just have like a bag of pH water and a bag of bagged pickles. I'm like, who are you?
What's bad about these pickles is it when you eat a pickle, do you eat the whole fucking pickle?
I usually don't eat those pickles, like an entire
I
pickle.
Yeah. I don't need
There's-
a pickle log.
It's one pickle. It's a baby cucumber that's pickled, but there's 7 servings in this, and I used to eat these every day for breakfast.
This is what he was telling me about it during the bachelor party.
I was
And
like-
he drinks all the juice too. And then just check real quick, Frank. What's the sodium on that? On the entire thing, not per serving.
1 salt mine.
Yeah.
Right. Basically.
1 mountain, roughly.
It's good for you, dude.
We-
Salt's good for you.
That's the subject of some debate. We gotta wrap this shit up.
Who's got the word? I think I butchered it. I think I killed it last time. I was horrible. Who's got the word? Who's the bird with the word?
Thanks, Javelin, for letting us use your song.
That's the word.
What?
Thanks, Tyler, for the graphics.
And then the final word for the day
Go
is
for it.
go over and subscribe us on our goddamn gravy channel. That's our fucking word, okay?
This isn't some German compound word.
We
horse
can't
shit. You
keep
gotta pick a word.
taking Santino. Hey, come here, puppy. Come here. Come here, puppy. Come here. Here, I got the word. Come here, baby. Oh, here's the word. There's the word. Okay.
Okay, is puppy dog.
He's a puppy dog. He's a puppy. Oh God. Oh no. Ah.
All right, that works.